I think Redeemer, when it started, we began with a vision to touch the city of San Antonio with the good news of the gospel. San Antonio was already a growing city. It was also a city in a lot of need, and Redeemer wanted to enter into that existing story with the life-transforming message of Christ. You can't walk out our front door and not see need and opportunity, and the gospel informs both. Every spring, Redeemer hosts what we call Redeemer Serves the City, and through the leadership of our pastor, Victor Martinez, we identify 4 or 5 city projects where we can put 20 or 30 congregants or members and their families even, and they can tackle a project.
So we believe that God has called us to serve and work, but not to just do so in the church, but also outside of the church. That's why Redeemer believes that we are in the city for the city. God did tell His people to seek the welfare of the city.
Fundamentally, we want to be a worshiping community, and so a lot of our ministry is oriented to our Sunday morning worship services. We want them to be true and vibrant. And so we want them to be informed by the Scripture and filled with the warmth and affirmation of the gospel. And yet we also want them to be shaped by the truth of the Scriptures. And so those are always informing the ministry of our Sunday morning worship. But then we also have a number of ministries that are oriented towards building up or shepherding our congregation in that gospel, so that our lives might be shaped by the freedom the gospel brings. So whether that's Sunday morning classes and seminars, programs of ministry for our children, it might be youth ministries. All of those things are a part of those nurturing ministries.
We always have friends and people we know well when we come to church. We're not among a sea of nameless strangers. So there's always that sense of, I know you care about me, I care about you, and just continuing to grow together in the Lord, experiencing spiritual maturity as we grow together.
One of the most exciting things happening at Redeemer Church right now is the launch of the Westover Hills Ministry site, and that meets in the northwest part of our city under the leadership of Pastor Manny Alaniz and his family. And the focus of this ministry site grew out of a community group that was predominantly Latino, and we began to dream about what it would look like for there to be a church that had the DNA, sort of the values and the mission of Redeemer, and yet culturally and racially was more predominantly Hispanic or Latino. You know, if you're a member of Redeemer Presbyterian Church, I can think of a few more exciting times in the life of our church. In recently acquiring the downtown YMCA, repurposing it, and it becoming our permanent home, God has now given us a unique, almost unique opportunity to make an impact in our city. We get to live out our mission in a practical, tangible way that is actually going to serve and bless our city. So now is the time for you to invest. Now is the time for you to find your place, not just to be an attender, but to be one who is participating with all that God has given you to contribute. We want to invite you into that story, to find your place and to make an impact. And that really is our calling, to be a church in the city, for the city. And we want that to be, in a sense, our legacy, to be a church that blesses the city of San Antonio.